Hi, this is Suhaila, and this is Grow With Me by Suhaila, the podcast. And this is season 2, episode 7. And the name of this episode is called Rest is Part of the Plan. Let's get into it. So I wanted to come on and talk about, well, first of all, happy summer. If you're in the northern hemisphere of the planet, it is summer now. And it's a time where we genuinely think that, it's a fun time. We relax a little more. We may be going on vacation, or just having a little downtime and enjoying the longer summer days. But just wanted to say how rest is not laziness. It's not withdrawal. It is a responsibility. Rest is a responsibility. So last year I met someone, a man, and we met around, it's not even a year yet. I remember it being around a holiday weekend. I think it was Labor Day weekend. It was after I'd come home from some summer travels out of the country. I remember it being a holiday weekend because we were it was one of those weekends where people get together, they, enjoy the summer, and exactly what I just said, that, they get together, they relax, they have fun. And we were near a barbecue pit. That's where we met. And he thought I was using that pit, or I was near that pit, or with the people near that pit. And he was asking for instructions, or he needed help with something, or was looking for help. So anyway, we wind up talking. We wind up connecting immediately. We talked for a while. He immediately told me about his life, about my life. We were talking about our relationships. He was telling me about his fiancée. We exchanged information. And I remember it was really sweet because even when we exchanged information, when he sent me his contact to my phone, he put his name and his fiance's name. It was really cute. And it was so sweet that by the time I actually met her, which was by mistake, we all bumped into each other another time, she already knew who I was and she hugged me immediately. So these two people, instant connection, lovely couple. And since then, they have been inviting me to come over or to hang out, to have drinks. I don't drink alcohol, but just get together, hang out for a little while. So we finally did it a month ago. But before that, a couple weeks before that, I'm walking somewhere in Los Angeles and I see him. We bump into each other. And this has happened a few times with them. I bumped into them like coming out of the W Hotel, like just random. I bumped into them. But he was by himself this time and we hug each other. He was waiting for someone to pick him up. So we hug each other quickly. I'm walking. And I felt how strong his stomach, it felt like a literal board. His stomach felt like a board. Like when they say washboard, it felt like a washboard. Now, Los Angeles is known for people who work out. They are usually or typically physically fit in most cases, right? That's the perception. And that's usually the people I see. So that's not really a big deal. I see that a lot. He doesn't really present like that kind. He's very tall, almost like a basketball player, and lean. So he's not out of shape by any stretch of the imagination. But he also doesn't strike me as someone who's in the gym all the time, like many people I know, including my friends. So when I was like, whoa, his belly felt rock solid, like a literal board, like a surfboard. like when they say washboard abs, I'm imagining that's probably what they look like. So as we hugged, we separated, and I put my hand on his stomach, naturally, like, whoa. I was like, what's going on? You working out? I was like, I need to get in the gym. He said, I'm a swimmer. I swim in the Olympics. I'm like, what? I was like, are you kidding? Like, are you joking? I thought he was pretending. I was like, stop playing. Like, what do you mean? How have I known you? What do you mean? What do you mean you're an Olympic swimmer? Like, he was like, no, Google me. He was and his face was so casual. I thought he was being silly, like playing a practical joke, but I couldn't make it out. And he just said, Google me. And I don't Google people. Am I the only one who doesn't do that if I don't need to? And I also didn't know his last name, but I wouldn't have Googled him anyway. And he gave me his full name. I already knew his first name. And then there it was, articles about him because he's an Olympic swimmer. I had already connected with him at this point almost a year prior, 8 months, 9 months. We've texted, we've bumped into each other. Like I said, him and his girlfriend, I did not know that he was an Olympic swimmer or what he did. And I kind of actually, sidebar, like that about my life, especially when I meet people like this. I tend to be someone, it really annoys me when people immediately want to know what you do. Unless we're in a work context, a business meeting, going to a conference together, I don't know, on a plane, chit-chatting for a long flight, and it comes up, I really don't lead with what do you do. It just doesn't happen. A lot of times my work comes up, not my primary work as a brand consultant, but my podcast and my book, just because those, or my newsletter, those are things that are available to the public. But I don't tend to sit and talk about what I do a lot unless someone asks. And I don't usually ask people what they do unless it's relevant or it comes up. Recently, someone thought I was a doctor. I was in a restaurant and we were about to sit down to eat. And I don't know why we were talking. The man was like, "Are you a doctor?" I have no idea. The server said that. I said, "What?" So it's funny. I don't know. Sometimes I guess based on the conversations people are having, people might draw conclusions about what people do. But we had never talked about it. And I kind of appreciated that I was discovering it. But it definitely felt like a discovery. Like, what? Like, the sky is blue and now someone is telling you it's red or something. Like, just some kind of revelation that was like, what are you even saying? How have I known you? And you're an Olympic swimmer. Like, what? The only other thing, another sidebar, that was equally shocking was I had a neighbor who was a porn star. And I had known her and her husband for at least 3 years. She was my actual neighbor in my physical building where I was living. And I had seen them. I've not socialized with them, just the three of us, but we've been in social settings together. I've seen them in the gym. They are like the most wholesome, wonderful couple. And then 2 summers ago, I'm sitting by the pool and she says, we were talking about other stuff. And she goes, "Oh, you know what I do, right?" And I'm like, "No." She goes, "I'm in adult entertainment." And she proceeds to tell me that she's an actual, when I say porn star, I mean she's a star. Since then, I've seen her outside and people know who she is who watch porn. Like, I was blown away. And I was happy that I didn't know that about that couple, because I don't know what I thought people in adult entertainment did on their free time. I don't know if I've ever thought about it, what kind of lives they live. When I'm telling you, these people live the most wholesome. I have never seen them with a crowd. I've never seen them, not that I see them at night or go to their house, but I've never seen them, I don't know, doing anything wild. I don't know. These preconceived notions about what we think people are about based on what they do, right? So I'm glad that I knew nothing about them, because you could have knocked me over with a feather, literally, when I discovered that her and her husband, who are the most wholesome, nice, sweetest, engaging, no even inclination that they would be in an industry, I don't know, that we sometimes perceive as, it was just amazing. It was amazing that I learned that after the fact. After already having known them, meaning from a distance. I've known them from a distance, but still, we've been in the same spaces. We stop, we hug. Her husband has actually asked me to work with his wife. He has said, like, "I would love to talk to you about working with my wife." I didn't know what they did. So anyway, this was equal to that. The shock, I'm telling you, Los Angeles is another story. It's like stranger than fiction. But this was the same level of shock of like finding out that she was a porn star. Like, you're an Olympian? Like, what are you even saying? Anyway, so he was explaining that that's why his abs were so naturally like a freaking washboard. Like, they were like, I felt like I could have knocked on them, like when when we hugged. But anyway, so cut to me hanging out with them. I hung out with them a month ago, him and his fiancée. And so now I knew this information. So as part of the night, at some point, he was talking about a potential trip where he has to train in another country. So I was just like, what is a day like? Like, what's your day like? So I was like, is that your day job? Like, like, what's your day like as a swimmer who swims in the Olympics? So I was like, what is training like? And he kept, I'm going to sum it up, but it was like these 3 things he kept saying. And I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, we go in the pool, we go into the gym, and then we sleep. Pull, gym, sleep, pull, gym, sleep, pull, gym, sleep. He was giving me different variations of this, like particulars, like strength training in the gym, and But that was the idea. So at some point, so I'm thinking, he kept saying sleep like it was part of training. I was sort of wanting to get past, like, why? Like getting past, like, okay, the nighttime happens, you go to sleep, you wake up, and then what? And then I mentioned, why are you saying sleep? Or I inquired, I noticed you're saying sleep in a particular way. He was like, oh yeah, sleep is part of training. It is part of the training. Do you hear what I'm saying? It is part of the training. It is how they become elite athletes. He went on and proceeded to tell me that any elite athlete, any athlete at the top of their game, he referenced Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. He referenced LeBron James and others. He was like, you will see how sleep is one of the most important things to them. Now, I'm someone who I really have, so I like the mindset of people. I study and I watch people. I'm not usually a fan of anyone's. Like, I don't have a favorite anything, really. Like, song. Or I guess I do. I have a favorite rapper and certain singers and songs. And I like certain actors in the films that they do. But I more study. If I'm going to become a fan of someone, if you're going to use that word, it's more because of the mindset of what it took for them to get there. So throughout my life, I've always studied people in business. You know, if I come across an article, people in creative fields, and athletes are one of them. I've always liked the ESPN documentaries when they show, because it's the mindset, right? It's like, if you take away the thing that they are training for or what they do, I really appreciate just most of it is belief, it's habits, it's discipline, it's faith. It's just sureness and some type of connection that is beyond what most of us are capable of, that keeps them in such a zone that gets them there, right? To the top of their field, to win a championship, to be whatever, the greatest player, whatever. So I have always appreciated ESPN sports documentaries in particular, because I'm fascinated by the way these men and women, but I've mostly seen ones with men. I can't recall ever seeing one with a woman. But these men, their mindsets and their training and their discipline, they're so inspirational. Those stories, I've always watched them like, I don't know, like people probably watch reality TV, because I just find it so, I can curl up with a blanket and watch those forever. Like, what does this take for you to be this level of discipline and get rid of distractions, and just, you are just so into this, whatever you think your purpose is, your goal is, your whatever that is, the purpose that I'm here to do this, or I want to be the best at what I do. Or some people knowing that I'm not the best at this compared to people in it, so let me do what I have to do to become the best. That level of discipline and mindset, and just heart and spirit and resilience and drive, that just never gets old to me. So I've always appreciated athletes for that, even if I've also sometimes enjoyed the actual sport as entertainment when I can go to games and stuff. But so when he was talking, I remembered vaguely hearing, I know I've heard them all talk about sleep, but I don't know why it didn't register, or maybe it wasn't important enough for me to remember it until now. So it is literally part of the training. And I know that we all know that we need to rest. I know that we all know we need to have, quote unquote, a self-care day or relax moments. It's kind of atrocious. We live in a world that we live in a country where, and world, in a lot of places where people work pretty much 365 days a year, minus the weekends and some holidays, and they only get 1 or 2 weeks of vacation. That's a little bit insane when you think about it. And even more so when I heard him and how rest is part of what they do. And I just was, so we know this. We know that we need to rest. We feel when we need to rest. Sometimes for me, I love resting. I love sleeping, because dreaming is such a big, it's my other life, right? I say I have 2 lives. One where my eyes are open and one where my eyes are closed. That's it. It's 2 different dimensions I'm experiencing. Both are live and colorful. My next book is going to be about that. My dreams, and that I've been recording them for 13 years, writing them down. So it's a big part of my life. So I like sleeping, because sleeping actually shows me a lot of what to prepare for in my waking life. So my sleep life prepares me for my waking life, and vice versa. So I like sleeping for other reasons, but I also have moments where, like now, I'm so excited about everything I'm doing. I can't wait for sleep to be over. I only sleep because I have to. It's like, oh, I'm so tired. My body warns me like, girl, if you don't stop typing or stop recording or stop whatever, you got to stop. I listen to my body now. It's almost like lifting your foot off the pedal. If you're driving, my body starts to do that. It slows down. But almost like you can't go anymore. That's how I know. I take cues from my body. Like, okay, even if I want to type another paragraph, if I'm writing a book, part of my book or my newsletter, I have to stop. I've learned to stop in that moment and listen to my body, even though mentally I'm ready to go. And I feel like I can go all night. Sometimes I do, but I learn to stop when I feel that release, like, okay, it's slowing down, I stop. So a lot of times for me, I can't wait to wake back up because I want to hurry up and get back to work. I have such a ritualistic morning routine. I do yoga and meditation and journaling. So that alone could take a couple hours in the morning. So sometimes I want to rush past that even. And that's kind of crazy because the point of that is to set myself up for a great day. But I have to stay present a lot of times because I'm so eager to get back to what I'm doing. So rest sometimes feels like an interruption. It feels like it's interrupting me that I have to sleep. Like, why do I have to be in this human body that requires rest? That's how I feel a lot of times. So, but to hear that athletes and swimmers in particular, he does the speed racing. I can't remember what it's called, but he does those speed in the Olympics. He's one of those people that do the speed thing in the pool. So he's like, it's very, very taxing. It's very exhausting. He was explaining what it does to the muscles. And I was just really blown away that really and truly for swimmers in particular and athletes in particular and elite athletes, the people who are top of their field, best in class, best in the world, rest and sleep, they're not time off. They're not time off. They are a part of the body's it's part of the training plan because the body adapts during recovery. It's not just the swimming itself, the basketball playing itself, the baseball playing itself, whatever, the workouts itself, whatever sport they're in. It's not just the workout itself that is part of the training plan. It is the sleep. Sleep is part of the training plan. Sleep is part of their training plan. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not just the workout itself. And, he was explaining to me, it's how their muscles repair. It helps with immune function and reaction time. Again, he has to do that speed back and forth thing. So it's reaction time. Also, sleep helps with the ability to handle the hard training. That's part of the training that sleep is also part of. So I just was blown away. I was blown away by that. It is, if there's 3 things they do, say a plan for life or a plan for swimming and training is composed of 3 things. That is 1/3 of the thing. Not because there were 24 hours in the day and you split it up, but because they need it. They need it. So they train in a cycle that mixes high volume water work, strength sessions, technical drills, mobility, planned recovery, things like this. And sleep is intentionally built into their schedules and they protect it. They protect their sleep like it's training time. He was even telling me like that's part of it, like to some extent, or maybe this is what I took from it, that some people have problems. You have to train to learn how to sleep as well. It reminded me of high school movies, coming of age movies, high school and college. You see they have to be on the bus and they have to be in their room when they have in these movies, right? They have to be in their room by a certain time and they have to be on the bus and they have curfews. Now I understand why. It's literally part of, you have to train yourself to be disciplined enough to take your butt to sleep. And they intentionally build sleep into their schedules and they protect it like it's training time. And the benefits are clearly that it contributes to the entire plan that is considered their training plan. The way this hit me was just so hard because it's so obvious, right? Because we all need sleep, but not obvious because we treat sleep like it's something that is optional, that is something that we negotiate with. It's something that we just fit in, that is something as, oh, I have time. And we almost sometimes act like it's cool to be like, oh, I didn't have any sleep. Some people live in this. I'm so tired. And they don't do anything about it. They don't do anything about it. It's part of their story. It's part of their identity. They think that it's cool or they're a hero because they keep pushing past exhaustion. And they think that they're working at 100%. You're not working at 100% if you didn't get any sleep. I know that because I am not good. I didn't get enough sleep. And to me, enough sleep is not about the hours. I know by how I feel if I got enough sleep. So I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to remind us that in everything we're doing, whatever we're training for in life, I guess, whatever we are preparing for in life, whatever we are actively involved in life, involved with in life, it doesn't end at the practice of doing it. You know what I mean? So recovery is also a part of that. And I know this in other ways because as much as like I said, when I get back to what I'm doing, my creations, my work that I call my work, it's also times in the shower, times in walks. I take daily walks. That's really important for me, my daily walks. These times are when some of the biggest and brightest ideas come to me or when I'm able to solve a problem. So I've seen this in my life in other ways outside of sleep, that's part of the rest of my life. That's not separate. When I stop and take a walk, when I am in the shower in the morning, when I am doing all the things I talked about that I set my day up for, meditation, journaling, yoga, I guess in a way that is also part of my training plan. I do all of that so that when I do get back to recording this podcast, when I do get back to writing my book, when I do get to doing my newsletter, when I do whatever, when I'm preparing for a speaking engagement like I am now or workshops in another country, when I do my client work, the clients that I work with for their brands and on their brands, when I do all of this stuff, this other stuff, that's part of my plan, I guess, in a way. That is part of my training plan. It's not separate. So I always knew that it's setting me up or gives me space to think, to create, for ideas to come, to solve problems when I step away from it. But I wasn't looking at it as part of my actual plan. And I guess it is. It's the plan that makes my life successful, similar to athletes who train. But sleep in particular, I just really wanted to talk about it. You know, I think that when we don't sleep, we're more irritable, we get anxious, we're foggy in mind, we're emotionally reactive. People really think that they're operating at 100% because they were able to go without sleep. It's not the truth. You can fool yourself. It's like a drunk person not realizing they're drunk, or a tipsy person. I don't drink alcohol, so I can easily see when people are getting tipsy before they are inebriated. They can't see it. They think they're still behaving normally. I can see it. It's the same kind of thing. Like people who don't get sleep swear and think in their minds they are at the top of their game and that they are remembering everything, that they are clear, that they are not being emotionally reactive, but they're not. And I do that too. You don't realize it until later. Like, man, I was really grumpy and I realized, because I didn't sleep well or whatever. So I don't know. I just think that it's a form of surrender and trust. It restores us, spiritually speaking. It restores us peace. It restores our peace. It quiets the inner noise. And similar to meditation, right? Sleep does the same thing when we drift off to sleep. And while we're drifting off to sleep, at least for me, I often use it as reflective time. Well, I make conscious time to reflect and have introspection before I go to sleep. I usually sit up because I don't want to fall asleep when I do that, and then I'll lay down and fall asleep. And I use it for prayer and just reviewing my day. But yeah, I just think that we have to really know that rest is a practice of care, is not escape, and it's not something that we do once life is over. I don't know, we use it almost like we use rest as like a bookend almost, right? Like a bookend or like a stopper in the door, like we just had to do that for this moment. Like, okay, I'm finishing my day. I'm finished with this part of life for today. So let me stop for a moment. Like it's something we do after everything else is over. Instead of using it as part of our plan. Instead of using rest as part of how we stay present for life. Because it does. It's part of how we stay present for life. It protects our emotional balance and our clarity, our spiritual clarity as well, our mental clarity, our emotional clarity, and our ability to respond instead of react. So rest, rest, rest. It's a superpower. If you want to be like an elite athlete, if you want to be the top of your game, top of your field, top of your life, top of your inner life, then you have to sleep. You have to work it into your training plan. It's not an aside. It's not the icing on the cake. It's not something you do just because you have to. Well, it's not something that it's responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure that we get sleep and that we get rest. Hope you enjoy this. Thank you for listening. If you are interested in journeying with me a little bit further or a little bit longer, there are a few ways that you can do that. One of the ways is my leadership course. It is called Feminine Leadership, Leading from the Inside Out. It is a mini course. It is self-guided. It is soft. It is gentle. It is easy. You can do it anywhere. It's a PDF. You can download it. It is not the traditional leadership language mumbo jumbo. It's not heavy hitting. It's not heavy. It's not heady. And it's easy to download, and it's on Gumroad. So wherever you are listening to this podcast, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcasts, wherever you are, in every episode you will see an episode description. Beneath the description, down below, but before you get to my bio, which is all the way at the bottom, between those two areas, you will see a bunch of links. Amongst those links is the link for Feminine Leadership, Leading from the Inside Out. You can click there. It will take you to Gumroad, and you can download it right now. It's priced at $37. Quick and simple, easy, breezy. If you're interested, check it out. I also have a book, Awaken the Brand by Suhaila, Unleash Your Personal Potential Through Building Your Brand. I like to say this book is personal development meets brand development, powered by spiritual intelligence. So whether you have an actual business brand or just a personal brand that's also a business, or just a personal brand that's just you, I define a brand as a promise. So whatever that is for you, it does not have to be a business that is a business where you are generating money or trying to generate money. It's just about how we show up in the world through our businesses, through our brand. I'm really using brand as a path to higher consciousness. That's really what it is. I'm using business and brand as a path to higher consciousness. I use that word because it's something that everybody understands, but it really literally is also a business and brand book. So however you want to look at it, however you're approaching it, whether it's for yourself personal, whether it's for yourself because you actually have a personal brand like you're a public speaker, or whether you're a thought leader and you actually are building a personal brand, or that is your business, or whether you have an actual product service brand. It's for everybody. So you can also check that down below. I have another course. It's also called Awaken the Brand. It's what the book came from. The course came first, the book came second. So you can check that out below. That's on Teachable and Gumroad as well. And then I have a newsletter called Spark by Suhaila, and it is on Substack. Those are all of my offerings. If you're interested in any of them, you will find them below. Have a wonderful day. Sending you light and love.